بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to send countless blessings and salutations upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow them in excellence until the day of judgment. And I ask Allah Ta'ala, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, to give us the divine success to establish sincere and noble intentions. That by everything we say or do, we intend thereby to have a closer and higher status with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, to seek the reward from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, to seek the acceptance from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and ultimately to seek Him Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. May Allah grant us those intentions. And let me greet you all with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And I should return the greeting for those who preceded me in greeting by saying wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Today, in these scattered thoughts, I wanted to particularly address the people of my city and my town, which is Atlantic City, New Jersey, and the surrounding cities that are next to it. Something that I think is extremely important. But what I'm going to mention will be of benefit to others in their areas and around the country and around the world. But I want this message specifically to reach the Muslims in the city of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and its surrounding areas. So I need you to do a few things. Number one, share this video. If everyone shares it, I'm sure it will reach the specific audience as well as the general audience. And specifically, everyone from Atlantic City or the surrounding areas who are observing and watching, especially you, I want you to share this video. And the reason I say that is because something really disturbing happened to me yesterday. And I think it needs to be addressed. So I'm going to address it here. But what I'm addressing is of general benefit for everybody, even though I have a target audience that I want this message to get to. Let me tell you what happened so you can get the background of why I'm going to speak about the issue I'm going to talk about. Yesterday, after Salatul Jumu'ah, an individual came to me and he said to me, I want to talk to you, but I don't know if this is the place. It's right after Jumu'ah. I was still next to the minbar after I had led the prayer. So I sat in my chair where I give my lessons from in the masjid, and we were talking. So he said, I don't know if this is the place to talk. And I said to him, I said, listen, there's no place you can talk to me. Say what you have to say. And he said to me, this is my first time ever coming to this masjid. I moved from another area some time ago. I live right around the corner from the masjid, but I've never entered this masjid. He said, because when I came to this city, other Muslims told me, don't go to Masjid Muhammad. And he pointed to a specific masjid he went to. No need to mention the masjid, it's not important. That they told him, don't go to Masjid Muhammad. Then he said to me, I just was running late to go to Al Jumu'ah, so I stopped here just to pray. And I listened to your speech, your khutbah, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? He sounds exactly like my teachers that I study with overseas. Then he told me where he studied, which is not important for the purpose of what I'm talking about. He told me his methodology. So I named his teachers without him telling me. He looked at me like, so I said, you study with this person, this person. Did you get a chance to study with this person? If you studied with him, you should have had to study with his teacher. He was just sitting there like, I said to him, I said, I'm a Sunni. I'm a Sunni Muslim. And I don't compromise my principles for nobody. He looked at me. He said, I've never heard one of us speak like that. My speech was about the methodology of Masjid Muhammad. And as Ramadan is over, what I'm very careful of, extremely careful of, is in Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City, New Jersey, the methodology that we adhere to, there is no compromising in it. We are Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah without any excuses, any exceptions, and any type of compromising of the principles and methodology of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Absolutely a no here, right? So I was explaining this to him. And I explained what is that methodology from the minbar. He never heard this type of explicit speech. So we were talking about it. And I thought to myself, because it's not the first time this has happened. This is the first time someone explicitly came from out of town and said that. But the local people, they experience this all the time, where some people from other places would be warning against Masjid Muhammad, but at the same time, when they are confronted with the knowledge that is taught at Masjid Muhammad, they become silent. They have a way of avoiding the issue. I'm saying this very important. Why? It's not about Masjid Muhammad. It's not about Atlantic City. It's not about Amin Muhammad. It's about the methodology of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah and understanding it properly, and as they say in our culture, and standing on that. Very important. Not about Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City. Not about Atlantic City. Not about Amin Muhammad. It's about Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah and its methodology of conveying the deen of Islam and standing on that. That's what it's about. So I explained this to the person. Then some sisters came to me and they told me about the behavior of some brothers who was challenging them on Facebook and talking about they're in a cult and Masjid Muhammad is like having a cult going on. Really? But these same people, when they see me, they know I'm the Imam of Masjid Muhammad. I'm the Imam. They don't say that to me. And I say this. Why? Because the response is going to be a response of knowledge. It's going to be a response of evidences. It's going to be a response of scholarship. And when that is put forth, the one who really doesn't know is going to have to remain silent or be exposed, one or the other. That's the background of what I'm going to talk about. That's the background. Why am I having this? So now you know why. Because in my area, there are people who are constantly opposing Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah and its proper methodology and spreading misguidance about Islam, and they're not confronted. And the innocent person who wants to learn, like that person who was just coming to a new city to learn to be a Muslim, and they tell him, don't go to Masjid Muhammad. So let me explain Masjid Muhammad. Please spread it. And this is Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City just happens to follow that methodology. And I'm going to be explicit. So there's no confusion. There is no doubt in where we stand and what is the position of Sunni Muslims and where we stand. Number one, let me just lay it out. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah and its foundational beliefs and practices gather their methodology from the Quran and the Sunnah and the consensus of this nation. So let's put those three things. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City follows the methodology of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, takes its primary methodology from Al-Quran, As-Sunnah, and Al-Ijma' and the consensus of the Muslim nation. That's the primary basis from where we, as Ahlus Sunnah, get our information. In terms of the Sunnah, which is an explanation of the Quran, the foundational primary sciences in Islam are taken from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The most famous hadith in that regard is known as Hadith Jibril, the hadith of the angel Jibril. It's famous, Hadith Jibril. It is related by Imam al-Bukhari in his Sahih and Imam Muslim in his Sahih and others, but particularly those two. And Imam Muslim relates it from the route of Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, and Imam al-Bukhari relates it from the route of Sayyidina Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The most famous narration that we hear is the one that is related from the route of Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, right? And in that hadith, the angel Jibril, to summarize, asks the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about three main aspects of the deen. He asked them about al-Islam, al-Iman, and al-Ihsan. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave specific answers. In those answers, the latter scholars understood that those answers were indicated or indicating certain foundational Islamic sciences, namely the science of al-Aqidah, the science of al-Fiqh, and the science of al-Tasawwuf. Al-Aqidah is the belief system of the Muslims. Al-Fiqh is the practical worships, aspects of worship that the person does. And at-Tasawwuf is Sufism, which is the aspect of Islamic spirituality. Sufism. I didn't stutter, Sufism. And the people who practice at any level the methodology or the science of Sufism are called Sufis. I didn't stutter. They are Sufis. These three main sciences have been formulated, detailed, laid out within various madhahib, schools of thought, and in terms of tasawwuf, turuk, spiritual paths. So in Aqidah, you have two madhabs, that are known to be of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. In fiqh, you have 4 madhabs, which are known to be Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And in tasawwuf, you have various turuq, spiritual paths, which are known to be Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This has been the traditional way of Sunni Muslims as a formalized structure from the beginning of the 2nd century Hijrah and developed further in the 5th and 6th centuries in terms of Turuq Sufiya, spiritual paths. To this day, it's been the foundational structure of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah all around the Muslim world. And that knowledge has been related to this day with an unbroken chain of transmission back to those great scholars who worked in formulating these sciences into a technical aspect, all the way back to its original source in terms of its practice, which is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those early Muslims among the companions, the followers, and the followers of the followers. That methodology is the methodology of Masjid Muhammad. That's of Atlantic City. That's our methodology. That's my methodology as the Imam. That's my methodology. And it all was taken as it reached us from among the foremost scholars in this nation that we relate from teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher, back to those scholars, and from those scholars to their teachers and teachers and teachers, back to the early Muslims, the Salaf, from the followers of the followers and the followers and the companions, ultimately back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is our methodology. This is what we practice. This is what we believe. And this is our state in striving in spirituality. Let me further clarify that. The Hadith of Jibreel that mentions Islam and Al-Iman and Al-Ihsan, that we said is a foundational basis by which these sciences were derived, these main sciences. Where did we understand this from? I'll give it to you. We relate with an unbroken chain back to this great Imam as one evidence. I'm not going to give you a lot so it doesn't get overwhelming. This book is taught Tabaqat al-Shafi'iyah al-Kubra, right? It is written by the great Imam Shaykh al-Islam Tajuddin ibn Taqiyuddin as-Subki. Tajuddin as-Subki, known as Shaykh al-Islam, and his father, Taqiyuddin as-Subki, was known as Shaykh al-Islam. Tajuddin as-Subki died in the year 771 AH. Write it. Tajuddin as-Subki. Shaykh al-Islam, Imam Tajuddin as-Subki. He died 771, AH. His father who was among the foremost scholars of Islam in his time. His name was Shaykh al-Islam. That's his title. Imam Taqiyuddin as-Subki. He died 756 AH. And I'm mentioning these two for a particular reason. In this book, which is a biography of the great scholars who follow the Shafi'i school of fiqh. In this book, he related with his chains of narration many narrations and versions of this famous hadith Jibreel, and he expounded upon it. After he mentioned those narrations, Imam Tajuddin as-Subki said something that is extremely important. He said, and here's the quote there, I'll put it up so you can see it, right? I'm starting here. I'm going to put that quote there. You can see it. So I'm starting. وَهَذَا حَدِيثٌ عَظِيمٌ أَصْلٌ مِنْ أُصُولِ الدِّينِ إِنْدِي إِنَّ الْمَدَارَ في الحقيقة ثلاثة: الفقه وإليه الإشارة بالإسلام، وأصول الدين وإليه الإشارة بالإيمان، والتصوف وإليه إشارة بالإحسان. And I'm looking at this backwards, so I'm going to turn it around so I can see it. So he said, and this is on page 58 in volume 1. Volume 1, page 58. He said, that this is a great hadith, right? And it is a foundation among the foundations of the religion. This hadith, it is a foundational aspect among the foundations of the religion. Excuse me, he said, and I missed a word here. He said, according to me, as I understand, the foundations of the deen revolve around this hadith. Inna madar ad-din alayhi. That the deen revolves around this hadith. Right? So go back when you check, as I had it backwards, the word deen, madar ad-din, means the religion goes around this hadith. Its focal point is this hadith. That's what he mentioned, right? Man, looking at it backwards. Let me fix this. I missed a whole line. So then when he said that, he continued, he said, and I missed this line when I was reading backwards, so I should add the line. He said that the religion revolves around this hadith. He said, وَإِلَى ذَلِكَ الْإِشَارَةِ بقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلمكم دينكم. He said, and to this point, this hadith indicates at the end of it, at the end of the hadith of Jibril, the Prophet ﷺ said, he came to you to teach you your religion. So that portion of the hadith indicates that the points of this hadith revolve around that. Then what did he say? He said, وَعُلُومُ الشَّرْعِ فِي الْحَقِيقَةِ ثَلَاثَةً. That's the part when I was reading backwards, I missed out. He said that the sciences of the sacred law, meaning the religion, in reality are three. So let me go back so you can see it again. Here, this line is here. This is very difficult going backwards. This line is the line that I left out, and I just read it again. So if you go back to this line, and I'm putting there so you can see it, right? وهذا حديث عظيم أصل من أصول الدين وعندي عند المدار الدين عليه. Here. وإلى ذلك إشارة بقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلمكم دينكم وعلوم الشرع, which is here. This is a skill going backwards. وعلوم الشرع here. في الحقيقة ثلاثة. So add that line. Right? So the science of the religion are three. Right? Then he mentioned them. Al-fiqh wa ilayhi al-ishara bil-Islam. He said one of them is fiqh. And it is indicated by the term Islam in the hadith of Jibril. He said, wa usul ad-din, the foundations of the religion, which is aqidah. And it is indicated by al-iman. And at-tasawwuf wa ilayhi al-isharatu bil-ihsan. And tasawwuf, Sufism, and it's indicated by al-ihsan. Look. Take this finger here. There's the word at-tasawwuf, Sufism. And he goes and he moves there. I go up. At-tasawwuf wa ilayhi al-isharatu bil-ihsan. Right there. So he mentions these aspects. Right? Al-fiqh, usul ad-din, and at-tasawwuf. I'll leave it there a minute so no one can say he's making it up. You can read it yourself. And I'll make it straight and I'll bring it in. There it is right there. You cannot miss it. Just 3 lines. And you can see it. You can screenshot it. You can do whatever you want with it. This is what Tajuddin as-Subki, that great Shaykh al-Islam, who was the leader of the scholars in Egypt, in Sham, as was his father before him. And they lived right after the time of Ibn Taymiyyah, and the father, Taqiyuddin as-Subki, was known as Shaykh al-Islam, and he refuted Ibn Taymiyyah and his bad beliefs and ideas that have spread today in our communities. That's what they said, that these are primary sciences of the religion. Is that clear for everyone? Did everyone see it? The book is here, so it's not like a debate. Here's the text. Yeah, Garth Bryant, whenever you're ready, I'm going to highlight you. Whenever you're ready, mark this guy's name since he want to be famous. Let me make him famous because he's one of them. Read that article. I'm going to tell you about this person. I'm not leaving you. You came. If you like, if you can behave yourself, soon as I finish, you're welcome to come live and we can have the discussion. I'll put the link. If you can behave yourself, right? If you can behave yourself with your mouth, with your tongue, because then they'll say, why I waste my time with you? So behave yourself. Have a real conversation. You're welcome right now to come on. I'll give you the link. I'll give you the space and we can have this discussion. Would you like it? No hiding. And I promise you, I will be respectful to you. And I want you to be respectful for me. So no one say we, as you like to say, we ain't niggas. We can have a real talk. And I want you to have a real talk. So you're welcome. Since you put yourself out there, you're welcome right now. As soon as I finish, you can come on. That's an open invitation. Did everyone hear this? This guy right here who put up his link, read his link. And then say, don't write. You can be face to face with me and we can have this discussion whenever you want. I would prefer it right now, as soon as I finish, and I won't take long. If you answer yes, I'll send you the link right now and you can come on right now, face to face. No hiding, no, and we just be respectful to each other. Did everyone hear this, what I said to him? Since you writing refutations, the pen don't answer back. The paper don't respond. Living people respond. Since you saying that, I will respond to you directly. And I will put you right on the screen with everyone. So if you got so much to say, let's say it. So for whoever hears him and his stuff, he's welcome. And that's a sidetrack. All I say is we're not going to be disrespectful. You're educated, I believe. I believe I'm a little bit educated. And I expect you to be smarter than me since you're writing papers and refutations, because I don't do that. So that means we can have a real conversation because you're intelligent. Let's do it. All right. I'll stop right there with you, but I'm going to leave you up because since you refuting, no, I won't do that. You know what I'll do? I'll make it easy. I'll hold it so you don't become a distraction. I'll flag you, boop, and I'll come back to you. All right. Because he's one of those guys that I'm talking about. He just don't live here. But I'll address him right after I finish because I don't want to get distracted. And I apologize for the distraction. But I'm going to finish you today. Count on it. You're going to be done when I finish with you today. So with that being said, that's Tajuddin Subki. Here's the book. Here's the volume 1. And here's the page. Page 58. The company, Darul Ma'rifa, the exact edition you need. There's the evidence of the scholars of Islam putting the primary foundations of the religion into three: al-fiqh, usul al-din, which is aqidah, and at-tasawwuf, Sufism. That's not Amin Muhammad. That's Sheikh al-Islam Tajuddin as-Subki, who is one of the foremost scholars of the Shafi'i school. Right? And his father, Taqiyuddin as-Subki. There's the book. There's the book. All right? That's where we take our knowledge. And if we want to have, I'll give you my direct chain later to Tajuddin as-Subki in his book Tabaqat al-Shafi'iyya. From my teachers to their teachers, to their teachers, to their teachers, directly back. We're not playing no games. Directly back. We're just being honest here. Okay. So those three sciences, our scholars, who are the foremost scholars in Islam, that's how they understood the deen. The father of Sheikh Tajuddin as-Subki, his father Taqiyuddin as-Subki, and I put him up there, he was known as Sheikh Islam. Let me tell you his rank. He was the first of the scholars to be the Chief Justice over Egypt and Syria at the same time. That had never happened prior to him. He was Qadi al-Qudat, the chief of all Islamic judges. When we're talking about when there was the real Islamic leadership, not like today, he was ruling over the judges in both Egypt and Syria. We're talking about top-ranked scholars, to the point he reached the level of mujtahid mutlaq, an absolute mujtahid. Not no small fries. He was the Chief Justice, the head judge over all the judges. That's their position. That was their way. So they were having a madhab in Aqidah, they had a madhab in fiqh, and they had a spiritual path in Sufism. These are the great scholars. Their name ain't Amin Muhammad. And ain't from Atlantic City, and ain't Masjid Muhammad. These are the great scholars of this religion. Right? So you ain't talking about me no more. It ain't personal. These are the scholars where we got that from. Let's stop. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, in those sciences, they follow madhabs or turuq, spiritual paths. In Aqidah, the madhab of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah that those scholars followed, those great scholars, were two. They were either Ash'ari or Maturidi. And I'm going to address it all since we had it, right? Because ignorance is bliss for the one who don't know no better. But ignorance is really a disease in Islam. It's not a blessing. But for the one who doesn't know no better, he thinks ignorance is bliss. In Aqidah, in Usul al-Din, which he mentioned is indicated by Al-Iman, they are the Ash'ari and the Maturidiyya, no doubt. Great Imams, as-Subki, Tajuddin, and Taqiyuddin, to mention one, were Ash'ari and Aqidah. And they related also from the books of the Maturidiyya. No doubt, not question, we could open the books and we'll see it, because they have other books, and Taqiyuddin as-Subki mentioned it, Tajuddin as-Subki mentioned it, and we have the books that they mention the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. Clear. This was way before we were even thought of. That's in Aqidah. That's the position of Masjid Muhammad. That's my position as a follower of these great scholars. Ahlus Sunnah are Ash'aris and Maturidis. Now, that's one. In fiqh, Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah are Hanafis, Malikis, Shafis, Hanbalis. These schools in fiqh are the recognized, relied upon schools of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's what has been conveyed through unbroken chains of narration and scholarship. And in Tasawwuf, Sufism, Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah are Sufis from the time of the Salaf to our time today. And that's what Tajuddin as-Subki and others, I just gave him as a reference, just so we got a point of reference and who we're talking about here, right? That we follow the path of Tasawwuf, the Sufis. And Sufis from the 6th century to our day were formalized into structured spiritual paths called at-Turuq, or the singular tariqah, right? Tariqah. And they are main ones: al-Qadiriyya, al-Rifa'iyya, al-Naqshbandiyya, al-Shadhiliyya, and others. As the scholar said, at-Turuq ilallah ka'anfasid khalaiq, that the paths to Allah are as numerous as the breaths of the creation. So we mentioned some of them. They were Shadhili in their way. Tajuddin as-Subki, Taqiyuddin as-Subki, those great imams, rahimahumullah, they were Shadhili with their chains of narration to the great Imam Abul Hasan al-Shadhili, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who is the one who codified and established the Shadhili tariqah of Tasawwuf. Now, that's Ahlus Sunnah in general. Now, there are specific details to different things, especially in Aqidah, because people like Gareth, that's what your name reminds me of, but that's not your name, and I should behave myself because I want you to behave yourself. But you really, really, really be pushing it, bro, right? So Gareth Bryant, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm wrong. I shouldn't call you Garth Brooks. But sometimes you make me respond the way you respond, and I'm wrong for that. I shouldn't say that. I apologize, right? I apologize. Publicly, I said it. Publicly, I apologize, right? Gareth Bryant. This methodology that you don't follow is the methodology of great scholars. And those who are like you are going against the greatest scholars in the history of Islam. Maybe you're not aware of it. So I apologize. So I guess you can call me one nigger for that. I guess if that makes you feel better. But I apologize, right? And I'm sorry for y'all for such terminology, but this is what we deal with. And it hurts common people, so we must address it, right? Okay, so that's that. Let's move that to the side. Now I want to go specifically. We have a base, and all of our scholars won that. That's in fiqh, in aqidah, in hadith, these great scholars. Keep those names because I want to show you, because what happens is these people, they try to make it personal. It's about Amin Muhammad. No, it ain't. I'm only a narrator. I only relate what we receive from our teachers. I don't come up with nothing on my own. And if I do, I'm wrong. Let's make that clear. If I come up with some stuff on my own, I'm wrong. Did everyone hear that? If I start making up my own stuff, I am wrong. I'm only qualified. I'm only authorized to relate the knowledge that we receive from qualified teachers with that unbroken chain of narration. Anything else, I'm not authorized to do it. If I do it, I'm an unjust sinner. Do y'all follow that? Is that clear? So if I start making my own rulings and making my own madhahib and making my own methodology, my own stuff, I'm an innovator sinner, period. I don't have the right to do that. So everything I narrate, I should be able to produce what our scholars said about that in their books by the text. That's why I'm always putting books in front of you. That's why we always reading books, because that's what we're authorized to do. We're not authorized to do our own stuff. I'm not qualified to deduce legal rulings from the Quran and the Sunnah. Nowhere near qualified. So I don't have the right to do that. And the one who does that without qualifications is a major sinner. And if they lived in the time of Tajuddin as-Subki or Taqiyuddin as-Subki or those great scholars, they would be punished for such behavior. All right. Let me move to Aqidah, since we want to talk about the Ash'aris. You only can play with people who don't know, Gareth. But people who learned, you don't stand a chance. Let me tell you, since these people say Ash'aris and Maturidis and Ash'ari deviants, okay, I ain't gonna take that personal, because I told you we're just narrators. So as-Subki, Tajuddin as-Subki, and Taqiyuddin as-Subki were deviants, and they were the leaders of the scholars. In fact, Taqiyuddin as-Subki took the place where Imam an-Nawawi used to teach. I actually sat there and studied in the same place where Imam an-Nawawi used to teach. And Taqiyuddin as-Subki used to teach there as well. They were Ash'aris. To this day, they are Ash'aris. Did you know that? To this day, right now, they follow a madhab. They're Ash'aris, they're Shafis, they're Sufis. To this day. From the time of Imam an-Nawawi to the time of Taqiyuddin as-Subki, all the way to today, they're Ash'aris, they're Shafis, and they're Sufis. Did you know that? Right? Just to clarify. Okay. Who else said that? Since, like we made the Ash'ari stuff. We didn't. We're followers. Who said the Ash'aris? Here is a book. It's Ahlus Sunnah al-Muttaqin, Bisharh Ihya Ulumuddin. Tasnif, it is written by Al-Allama Al-Sayyid Muhammad ibn Muhammad Al-Husayni Al-Zabidi Al-Shahir bil-Murtada. This book, it's half As-Sada Al-Muttaqin. It is the explanation of Ihya Ulumuddin, written by Imam al-Ghazali. Who wrote this commentary? The great scholar and Sheikh Muhammad, the son of Muhammad, Az-Zabidi, Murtada Az-Zabidi. He died in the year 1205. Here's the book. Let's put the scholar so you know, because I'm going to tell you about him. The book, it's half Sada al-Muttaqin, Bisharh Ihya Ulumuddin. written by or authored by a Sheikh or Sheikh Muhammad Murtada. Oh man, sorry. Sheikh Muhammad Murtada Az-Zabidi. He died 1205 AH. Right? In his book, so this Sheikh Muhammad Murtada Az-Zabidi, right? He wrote that book, Ithaf As-Sada Al-Muttaqeen, right? Bishar Ihya Ulumuddin. Here's the copy. And for those who want this book, this is an old edition. This is the brand new edition that was recently published in 30 volumes. 30 volumes, right? So these are the same book, but this is a brand new edition. It just came out this year. Very beautiful. This is the old edition, and there are older ones, but so this is the book. The evidence is here. We're talking books, right? I'm not going to block you, Gareth, excuse me. And that's a mistake with your name. I don't mean to be say Gareth. I always say Garth in my mind. That's what you remind me sometimes. But I gave you the link. Be patient. You don't got to write all that stuff because you can come on and say it. So hold on. Right? So don't get distracted by Gareth. We're telling him, Gareth, you coming on live. You don't got to do that. You're going to be able to speak, and I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to make you famous. That's what you want to be? I'm going to help you. Actually, I'm going to put you on my platform to make you famous. I don't know how it's going to turn out for you, but I'm going to make you famous. Don't be afraid. Don't run. Right? So, and I'm getting ready to stop so he don't have an excuse to say why he can't make it since he's still here. So I have to stop just for him. In volume number 2 of this book, in the new edition, it's volume number 4. In the Qawaid Aqaid, the foundations of the creed. Volume number 2, in this book, he mentions in the second section, Al-Faslu Thani, the second section, look what Murtada Az-Zabidi says. إذا أطلق أهل السنة والجماعة فالمراد بهم الأشاعرة والماتريدية. Read it. Gareth, I know you read Arabic better than me, right? So correct anything that's wrong. There it is right there, Gareth. فصل الثاني إذا أطلق أهل السنة والجماعة فالمراد بهم الأشاعرة والماتريدية. What does that mean? Whenever Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah is mentioned, what is intended by them are the Ash'ariyah, the Ash'aris, and the Maturidis. Look, there it is. Page number 8, volume number 2. There it is. So that's Al-Hafiz Muhammad Murtada Az-Zabidi. What did he say? Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Whenever you say that, what is intended by them are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. Let me show you. That's one book. Maybe this book had a bad print. Let me go to the other book, the new by Fasl Thani. This is the new publication. I told you it's in 30 volumes. So this is volume number 4 in Qawaid al-Aqaid. This was recently published. All right. And here it is, volume number 4, page 17. Fasl Thani, that was matching the same thing. إذا أطلق السنة والجماعة فالمراد بهم الأشاعرة والماتريدية. So there's 2 books, 2 editions, and I could go more. What does he say Ahlus Sunnah are? The Ash'aris and the Maturidis, right? Okay, so we got that point, right? So Murtada az-Zabidi, he said that they are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. Okay, who's Murtada az-Zabidi? Is a name. Murtada az-Zabidi. So who are we talking about? Is it just anyone? No. Muhammad Murtada az-Zabidi was known as Al-Hafiz. Al-Hafiz, which means the master hadith scholar or memorizer. The master scholar or hadith memorizer. Let me tell you about him. Murtada az-Zabidi died in Egypt. He was originally from India. He studied in the Yemen and moved around. He acquired the knowledge of hadith from more than 300 scholars of hadith in his time in the don't get distracted with Gareth. He's coming. If he has courage, he will come. So he's going to have time. I'm getting ready to close. Don't go. Garrett, here's the link. It's definitely for you. And don't say you don't know how to use it because you always on StreamYard and stuff talking nonsense. So here's your link for you. It's only for Gareth. No one else. I'm not going to pay no one else attention. This link is for Garrett. Join in. Get yourself together and get ready. I'm going to let you talk. I'm not going to cut you off. I promise not to call you Garth. I apologize. And I don't want you doing a bunch of cussing because that's going to nullify your whole argument if you start that, right? So don't do it. Just have an intelligent conversation, right? Let's go, Garrett. And you think if you thought that the original, and I'm going to tell them if you don't come where you got this stuff from, how it started. I'm giving you the opportunity to do it. But if you flee from this discussion, I'm going to tell them about you. I would rather you do it. Don't let me do it. I don't want to speak for you. You can speak for you. All I ask you is have good behaviors because we're trying to educate our people. We both on quote unquote our people. So let's educate our people and let's be respectful because I don't want the Imam Amin went hard on you. So don't be disrespectful. Here's the link. And as soon as you come, I'm going to bring you on. And you got all the time you need. I got plenty of time. Whatever you need, you're welcome. Okay. Let me tell you why until he comes. Muhammad Murtada az-Zabidi was a Hafiz. What does Hafiz mean? In the terminology of hadith scholars, when we say someone's a Hafiz, that means they memorize over 100,000 hadith with the chain of narrators. 100,000 hadith with the chain of narrators. I know what's happening, right? Huh?
It's a holder. I see the big.
You see one?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, take it. MashaAllah. So that's a Hafiz. That was Murtada al-Zabidi, right? That's Murtada al-Zabidi. 100,000 hadith with the chain of narrators. He's a master in fiqh, in lugha, in Arabic language. He has one of the largest encyclopedic dictionaries in the Arabic language, right? Called Taj al-Arus Bisharh al-Kamus. And it's similar in volumes, like almost 30 volumes in the Arabic language. They say about Murtada, Sheikh Muhammad Murtada al-Zabidi, no one after him reached his level in the Arabic language. No one after him reached his level in the Arabic language. That's Murtada al-Zabidi, right? He was a hafiz of hadith, narrated from over 300 scholars of hadith. He wrote his famous book in his narrations called Alfiyatu Sanad, right? Which is 1,000-line poetry in the science of hadith and all of his sheikhs. 1,000 lines of poetry he wrote. In this book, he mentioned a line to show you himself. He said, وَقَلَّ أَن تَرَى كِتَابٍ يُؤْتَمَدْ إِلَّا وَلِي فِيهِ اتصال بالسند أو عالما إلا ولي إليه وسائط توقفني عليه. Look what he said. I'm going to repeat that. Allahu Akbar. Look what he said about himself in his Alfiyah. وَقَلَّ أَن تَرَى كِتَابًا يُؤْتَمَدْ إِلَّا وَلِي فِيهِ اتصال بالسند. He said, rarely will you relate a book that is relied upon except that I have an unbroken chain to it. Or أو عالما إلا ولي إليه وسائط توقفني عليه. Or even a scholar, except that I have connections that connect me with him. There is no book, there is no scholar, except that I have an unbroken chain to it. That's Murtada al-Zabidi. And what did he say? Whenever you mention Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they are the Ash'aris and the Maturidis. The books are there. And we could go on. You're not challenging me. I gave you the likes of Al-Hafiz Murtada al-Zabidi. I gave you the likes of Shaykh al-Islam Tajuddin al-Subki. Okay, these are the greatest, among the greatest scholars in Islam who have conveyed the religion. And I could go more and more and more. I'm just giving you two so we can build on something. Now, I don't see Gareth Brooks. Gareth Bryant, I'm sorry. Please, I'm serious, I'm sorry. You've got under my skin so much. I'm trying to get a good name for you, to say your name right, and all I think is that bad name. May Allah forgive me, right? Seriously. But man, if you see what I've been dealing with this guy and holding myself back from him, you would know why I feel the way I feel. May Allah forgive me, though. It's wrong. I shouldn't do that. He's still Gareth Bryant. He's not Garth Brooks. Forgive me, please, seriously. But he knows what he's been doing. But doing this, duck and wreck, that's what you've really been doing. But so I'll give him a second. Maybe he has to get ready. Here you go, Gareth. You were quoting, right? Gareth Bryant. There's the link. You know how to use it. Come on, I'm waiting for you. While we wait for Gareth, since he can write a refutation on me, since he can put pen to paper, why don't you put mouth to microphone and face to screen and have a conversation? And I'm even going to give you, because I called you Garth Books more than once, so you can have a couple you can have a couple slanderous words for me, and I'll take it, and then we can move on. Or you could take the high ground and say Imam Amin keeps having a slip of the tongue because he's been having bad thoughts because I've been messing with him and he's been avoiding me. Really has the ability to deal with me, but he doesn't. And I keep like picking with him. So he's trying to avoid from really dealing with me. So he just called me a name that is wrong, and may Allah forgive him, because that's what I'm doing to you. But where you at, Gareth? I'm waiting for you. While I'm waiting for Gareth to come on, and let me make sure you don't have no excuse. Here's the link, right? Here's the link, Gareth. Theirs is on YouTube. There it is on Facebook. And since you're on Facebook quoting, let's go. And I want everyone to pay attention to this. I promise I'm going to let him speak, right? I promise I will not cut him off. I will wait till he's finished. He will have full reign to say his piece. I will not cut him off. And I expect from him, when I respond, don't cut me off. We're going to be civilized. We're going to be academic. And we don't need no preparation. So I don't need no notes. And you shouldn't either, since you're talking. We're going to have a straight conversation about the areas in which we differ as brothers, because we are brothers. And if he don't come, all y'all can ignore his whole statements, because writing a paper and talking about somebody and one-way conversation can be filled with lies. But when we're face to face, we're talking, there's no lying, there's no any of that. It's just truth. Either you have it or you don't, one or the other. But since you wrote about me and you're spreading it all over the internet, I'm right here. You don't need to write a letter. The whole world can see me and you have this conversation. I won't block you. I won't edit. I won't do none of that. And I'm giving you a chance before I tell you what happened. I tell the people why you in your feelings and why you act so petty in your so-called refutations, which is really empty. But let's talk it. I'm waiting. Because since you're talking, you should be able to come answer. And everyone see who you are, the person. There's your article. You wrote it. I'm not hiding it. You wrote it. There it go. I welcome you. I welcome you. Where's Imam Fahim? Imam Fahim Lee. Here's Gareth, who's writing all his refutation. Here's your opportunity. Where you at, Habibi? And I'm never going to block you, because I would hope that one day Allah puts something in your heart, make you learn, and you become educated, and you become one of the foremost teachers of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah in our community. Because you're a young brother and you could do a lot, but you have to learn. And being an influencer on Facebook ain't it. Being an influencer on Facebook ain't it. You actually got to hit the books, pal. And I pray that you do it. That's why I wouldn't block you. That's why I've never blocked you. But now you have the opportunity. But since he ain't showed up, and I pray he shows up, does anyone have any questions or about what I mentioned? Yeah, CJ, he's right here. Tell him to come. You know it's allowed him to do this. He's welcome. And I'm going to respect him. I'm going to give him all the time he needs to express his points. I know you're busy, right? You wasn't too busy to type, but you too busy to come on. Come on. Any questions? No, he don't need to be tagged. He's there. He's there. He's in commenting. Oh, yes, it is on. For those that were issued in that issue, let me give you. Where did you put it? Here is the book that we referenced on this issue of the Shahada. It is available. So we mentioned this issue, the book Key to the Garden by Habib Ahmed Mashour al-Haddad, where he mentioned that it's obligatory to immediately give the Shahada to the one who comes seeking it, and it's not permissible to delay it, which is chapter, I think, 17. No, chapter 15. So chapter 15, the two testimonies are mandatory for entering Islam. And this whole section deals with this issue of delaying the Shahada. So this is the book, The Key to the Garden. There's a different cover on the one you're getting, the same book, but just this is an older version. It's there. So that whole issue, and here's the original Arabic text. The original Arabic text. لا بد للدخول في الإسلام من النطق بالشهادتين. It's obligatory to enter Islam that you utter the testification of faith. And he gives the whole issue, right? So those who are confused about that issue among Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, yes, the book is here. Here's the link. Here's the link for the book. And I would suggest all of you get it. Why? Because when people are spreading things that are misguidance and they can have a devastating effect on our communities, we have to respond with the scholars, not with us, with the ulama. This was one of the foremost imams in Saudi Arabia among Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah in his time. Habib Ahmed Mashour al-Haddad, he was the companion of Habib Abdul Qadir ibn Ahmed al-Saqaf. They were contemporaries and companions. He is from the family of Imam al-Haddad. And he mentioned explicitly this case in his book, Miftahul Jannah, The Key to the Garden. There's the book. Here's the link. And it's chapter number 50. The whole book is beneficial. It's all about the importance and the reward and the meaning of the testification of faith and all the judgments related to it. So that's the book. It's in English, yes. This is the book. It's in English. I mean, this is not the cover. There's another cover because it's a new edition, a reprint, but this is old. The new edition is covered, but it's there. The book is available, and I suggest we're going to read this book too. But for that particular issue, which is spreading in our communities, it should be solved through that book. That whole issue, he mentioned all the reasons why, and the whole book deals with its importance. And that's a foundation in the religion. We cannot be silent about that. Okay, so I'm going, if there's any questions about what I mentioned, and I'm only mentioning that, and I told you it's specific to the people of our time, right? I mentioned it. But as you see, and I want all of you to pay attention, we offered our brothers who refute us, who say we're deviants, we offered you the discussion, the platform to express yourself. Sincerity dictates, if you're going to refute me, you should talk to me. When you have the opportunity, you have the opportunity. Since you publicly are trying to refute me, you should publicly give me the fair chance to respond. If it was private, then you could have privately reached out to me and talked to the issues, but you didn't. You publicly did it. And I have no problem with that. If you think I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think only insaf, fairness, necessitates that you give me the opportunity to respond to your claims. If you are sincere. Or if you just clout chasing, you have your clout. And how we come from our neighborhoods, from our backgrounds, you know how we look at people when it's time to handle your business, to stand on it and you run. You know how we look at people like that, right? In our communities. I know about the other communities, but in our communities, we have no respect for someone who's selling wolf tickets, and when it's time to cash that check, you run. We don't have no respect for people like that. Zero. You talking all that stuff, it's time to cash it. Why are you running? Right? I'm right here waiting for you. I'm not running. Let's do it. You talking. Why are you running? There's no reason to run. You sheikh, you imam, you Facebook influencer. Let's have the discussion. And I promise you, I won't cut you off. But he ain't coming. Or just say why you can't come. At least give us that. Since you're quoting, say I'm working for Mr. Charlie or whatever. And this is the time we can have the discussion. Which one? Which one? Gareth, since you answered, answer me. Which one? Because here, this is where we learn. So if you can't come and expose the mistakes, your article is baseless. Because when you had a chance to and you're an educated guy, when you put out your paper, you got to defend that, right? When you get your degree and you write your thesis, you have to defend that. So you wrote your paper, it's time to defend it, homie. Why are you so shy? You were so arrogant when you was writing it. You were so definitive. Why are you shy? But let me move on since you're not coming. If you come, I won't go. But I'm getting ready to explain what happened. How you got to where you got. And you can answer. You don't, I'll answer for you. Let me tell you about this guy, Gareth Bryant. Let me tell you what happened. He's a young brother. And our young brothers should learn from this. I used to teach in New York for years in the Mecca Center in downtown Manhattan. For years, I was the lead teacher there. And a lot of the young African Americans, when they learned about the Mecca Center, they used to come, right? And they would learn. So Gareth Bryant one day came to my class. He came to my class. And like all the other students, he was sitting there. But for some odd reason, he was feeling himself, like he's learning. I guess it's really self-hate. When you see a black man sitting in front of foreigners and college students and university students and professionals, in the back of his mind, I don't know. This is my assumption from his behavior. Like, who's this Negro? And he started trying to, quote unquote, correct me. I kindly said to him, I said, it's in the class, calm down. You know, wait till after class, we'll discuss it. But he didn't stop. He kept interjecting. I said, listen, you keep it up. I'm going to expose your ignorance. Stop. We could talk afterwards. He kept doing it. And I told you where I come from. It may be a bad thing from us. We're not going to duck wreck. We don't do that. We don't do that. That's our terminology. Say, if you start it, we're going to finish it. We're not going to flee. That's not going to happen. I told him that. So, and students were there. I believe my wife was in the class in those days. So there's a bunch of students from Mecca that remember when he got refuted in Mecca. He came with his Wahhabi ideas that I don't even think he realized they were Wahhabi. Anthropomorphism, Teshbih, Tejseen. And I exposed him because I warned him before he started, stop. But he kept going. And he was trying to confuse the students. And that day, he ended up silent because he could not answer. And his ego was bruised. He never again came around except being on the internet spreading false stuff about me. The Black Imams Roundtable, all that. And because some of the elders whom I respect, who like this up and coming young brother, they're like, Imam, give him a break. I'm like, all right, but he keeps going. So I've never responded to him. But now he's on my page in the live doing that. So I'm like, yo, come on to have a talk. I'm still not going to respond to him because really all of his stuff has no foundation. He can't defend it. It don't make no sense. But it's nice for collecting followers. And as I say to him, come and let's have the discussion. Stop being so arrogant. Come. If I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. Like I said, I was wrong for calling him Garth Brooks. I'm wrong, mistake, slip of the tongue. I shouldn't keep saying it. So I'm wrong, no problem. And I hope he would accept my apology. But I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. So if all of what I'm saying is wrong, then you should be able to explain it. But really, as we can see, it ain't about me. Now you got to say these scholars are wrong. And I want to hear that one. I want to hear that one. And then we compare these ulama, because there's going to be mountains of them, that we all say they were all wrong and misguided, because that's what the real claim is. Then the question becomes, if they're all misguided, who are you? Right? And So I'll stop there and listen. That invitation for two groups of people is open. For my Atlantic City people who I was directly addressing in our area, any of you who feel that Masjid Muhammad is a place of deviance, and I'm talking about these local people who spreading that stuff, any day, anytime, we can have a public discussion about the issues you say we're deviant in. Did everyone get that? This is for my local community and those around who telling people don't come to Masjid Muhammad, they're deviants, they're Sufis, they are Asharis. Anytime, any day, any place. I'm going to repeat that. For those who say that Masjid Muhammad, they're deviant Asharis, Sufis, blind followers of madhabs, any day, anytime, any place, we can have a public discussion. Any one of you who feel that way, we can have the discussion. You're welcome. Any day, anytime, any place. As long as we're going to be, and I don't even care if you get other than that, but I'm saying so that people can benefit and really learn, because that's what we say we're about. We just be respectful to each other. We give each other a chance to talk. We listen to each other. We examine each other's evidence, and we do it properly, right? And we're men, so we could do that. We're men, right? Let's show the people that we're not cowards who talk behind people's back, and not when they're confronted, we act like we, as they say, throw the stones and hide your hands. Nah, don't do that. You throwing stones, stand there and stand on that. Masjid Muhammad is open 5 times a day for every prayer. So all the times of prayer are listed in the masjid. It's open every day. Not every day, everybody in here, all masjids, people come at different prayers, but the masjid is open for every prayer. Imam Fahim. Oh, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wait a minute. Zoom back. We got to finish our beloved brother, Gareth Bryant. Because, know what I mean? He had the opportunity to come on. He ain't come. So you are a witness of how many times I avoid going at him. He came on the platform today with his refutation. I gave him the link. Because he really comes at you the most, not even me.
Yeah.
Right? I gave him the link. That's the book. And he's welcome. Now, Gareth, you got 2 of us. You can get 2 for 1. Because you always want Imam Fahim. So he's right here too. You can get 2 people. And we promise we'll let you talk as long as you need. And we'll listen till you say we can respond. I know you want to come.
And if you I tell you, well, first of all, Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa salam. Salams to everybody who's watching the show. Alhamdulillah. So let's get right to it. I was only coming in for a couple minutes, but now since this is on, so Mr. Garth Bryant, that's Brooks.
No, we said we can't call him Garth. I apologize.
Well,
so that's our inside joke.
Well, he called me a lot of names. I think he could get by with Garth. So, and that's, I'm saving him face. So, Mr. Bryant, if you take us up on this task today, I'll spare you a meeting in person. Because it's not a game, man. You online talking real heavy, talking real greasy. It's not a game. And I hope you take us up on it, man. Because if you don't, I'm coming to see you. so we can have an academic discussion in person.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, you talk real greasy, man.
But so I explained to them, because I gave him, and I said I'd give him the opportunity. But the point is really not Gareth Bryant. The real issue is people opposing the methodology of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And as I said when I was talking, I said, listen, what we're talking about is not from us. So if we're wrong, we got it from scholars who are the foremost scholars in this nation. Then if we're going to call all of our scholars deviants, then I don't know what kind of religion we're conveying. So this is important. Imam Fahim lost his connection. He may come back. But really, don't get lost in that. Because if we have a real conversation, you're going to discover that the issue's not personal, right? The issue is never personal. The issue is the knowledge, the way we received it, the scholars who conveyed it, and its authenticity. That's what we're talking about at the end of the day. Anything else, because we're from where we're from, we don't take things so lightly. So I understand Imam of the Boom Bap. But in all that, we never wanted to forget the real discussion is the knowledge of the religion, right? And I started because you go through the same thing in Camden, where don't go to the Cuba school, they deviants, they innovators, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's have the discussion. But when it comes to that discussion, it's always crickets, as they say.
Yeah, then it's always, nah, that's not what we meant when you ask them, and then they think it's going to get real, or they only talk because they think it's not going to get back to you, and then they become cowards, man, and two-faced people, and I can't respect people like that, you know,
Right.
and I'm not at the level yet where that I'm willing to be cordial, you know, because I'm still on the level like ready to smack the fire out of somebody, man, because that's the only thing they understand. But I'm gonna leave that talk for another time.
Yeah.
But what's going on, man? What's happening? I only came in for a few moments, so I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
see if
I was just because what happened was somebody came to the masjid for Jumu'ah yesterday. It's more than one, but one particular person, he moved to the area and he lived right behind the masjid. When he came here, people at other masjids told him, don't go to Masjid Muhammad. He happened to be late and he came and he heard the khutbah. And he was like, this is exactly what my teachers taught me in overseas when I studied. I said, we Sunni. And what is really is, those Wahhabis are telling people that, but they're hiding. They don't come and say it. What they do is they have these discussions with new Muslims or other people and confuse them, but they never address directly us. And I just put a clear invitation, and I was speaking specifically to the ones around my area who's saying that. You don't have to tell nobody that. I'm available. We can have a public discussion, right? Right? About any issue, academically. You get a chance to speak till you got your point across, then I will respond. Then you can rebut. We can have the issues. We can, and let the people decide the truth. Give them the information, give them your points, and let them decide what they believe and what they see to be truth or false. I think that's fair, right?
That's more than fair.
I say, okay, what is your issue? These are your points. say them. We don't got to be all over the place. It ain't no rush. It's a lifetime journey. We'll take one point, the main point that you got. Let's deal with that point. You'll present your position. I'll present our position. Once these positions are examined, the people will be able to decide, right? If you believe we're deviant Asharis, okay, present your evidence, right? Present your evidence. It's not an argument. It's not a fight. It's a discussion. And as Black people, especially as us as a people, why are we afraid of learning? If I am wrong, I don't want to be wrong. I want to be corrected. So I am open for a real discussion. I'm not God. I'm not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't know everything. I could be mistaken in some things, and some things I'm correct, just like the others. So the discussion is nothing to flee from. If you prove your point and I am sincere and your point is right, I'm going to accept. But if you can't prove your point and your point is proven to be flawed, then you need to be sincere and you accept the truth. At the end of the day, we just want the truth to be exposed. So I don't get all of the ducking, wreck, and running and behind the door refutations, and I don't get all that when we're right here, right? You know, they used to say back in the day, there's nothing between us but fear and air, right? Nothing between us but fear and air, nothing else.
Space and opportunity.
Right. Go for it.
Yeah, let's go. You know?
So, okay. But some people, they don't understand our culture.
Yeah.
So I have to be respectful for everyone because we know our culture. We know how this really goes. But this is internet. This is social media. This is a new world. So we have to deal with it a certain way, right? And that's nice. That's good. So we should have the discussion, right? So the offer is still there. If you need to go do more research, do your thing. But for you, Gareth Brooks. No,
it's
Gareth
Bryant.
Bryant. I'm sorry. I can't.
Garth Bryant.
Man, I'm telling you, the guy got under my skin so much and restraining myself from really handling him. That was like my way of calming me down, right?
Yeah,
This guy, man. But I've been going through this for probably at least, I would think almost 15 years with this guy or more.
He's been around that long?
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
That guy been scarred from that day all the way to today. And he's never had a man-to-man conversation with me. Like, we men, bro. You're from New York.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe we not all men.
I mean, like, come on, bro.
Maybe male figures, maybe.
I mean, you're from New York. You from New York and you rolling like that? Where's your dignity and honor?
I don't know, man. You remember Eddie? You remember Eddie Murphy?
Listen. You listen.
You remember Eddie Murphy? He was like, man, I act like I can fight real well. I talk like I can fight real well until I run into somebody who can actually do it.
I've been around. I used to live in New York for myself. I did a lot of time in the university with real jokers from New York, right? And that ain't New York style, bro. Not real dudes from New York. That ain't how they roll. So that should tell me something. It should tell me something, right?
Exactly.
It should tell me something.
Real dudes from New York.
Right. But all right. Sorry, please forgive me seriously.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off you, man, because I'm actually on the run. I just want to stop in and get some.
All right, I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
We gotta keep it going. So,
absolutely.
So you can take it easy. Gareth Bryant had his opportunity to address and he declined to actually address the issue. So obviously, what we can extract from that is he ain't really serious about what he's talking about.
Yeah,
He's just
and also for the record, Mr. Bryant, since you didn't take this opportunity to come on this platform, we still gonna meet in person, just like we did last time. And I guarantee you it's gonna be a different because it's gonna be deliberate and purposeful, like I told you. Last time I wasn't even checking for you. This time I'm coming to check for you. So we can have a face-to-face, an eye-to-eye discussion. And I'm putting that on public record. You can take it how you want to take it.
May Allah make it easy, soften our hearts, and bring us to a table where we can actually educate each other and
mean,
benefit. All right, Imam.
Okay, I
Thank
got
you
to roll,
for coming.
man.
I love your support, Habibi. Barakallahu bikum.
Well, Fikum Barakallah. I love you, Sheikh. I love you all. 3453 family. Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry to so but from now on, all of y'all witness, we don't have to deal with him. What he gets every time he writes something, all you say to him, Gareth, Imam Amin offered you for open public discussion. No need to write. He's available. That's all we say to him. That's our response to him. When you want to write, for everybody, it's like that. You don't have to write. He's available for a discussion. Right? It's open. For my people in Atlantic City, when they start telling you, don't go to Masjid Muhammad and this, tell them Imam Amin is available for an open discussion whenever you're ready. But our position, I clarify it. We are Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. In Aqidah, we are Ash'ari and Maturidi. We follow this methodology. In fiqh, we are Hanafis, Shafi'is, Malikis, Hanbalis. And we follow the way of Tasawwuf. That's Masjid Muhammad. Right? Right? So for us, that's our methodology. Nothing else, nothing more. And we got that methodology with an unbroken chain from those great scholars of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, like Tajuddin al-Subki, like Al-Hafiz Muhammad Murtada al-Zabidi, and many others. That's our way. Our class is open. Our sessions are open. We're public. We're not hiding. We're not doing any of that. Any issue, we are seekers of the truth. We will sit down and talk about that issue. If we don't know, we will say, I don't know, period. And once you present, we will research what you present. We are not people who don't have scholars, who don't have teachers, who don't have references. We have all of that. You are welcome to have that discussion. And my brother Gareth Bryant, I love you for the sake of Allah. I don't like your behavior. I'm going to be honest with you. And sometimes your behavior makes me struggle with my nerves to deal with you. Really. But I warn you something, Gareth. You're a young brother who may have think everything's a game. Some people, this is their life. They don't play games. So I would suggest to you, even if you don't like someone, try your best not to disrespect them, especially us, our people, because some of us ain't refined. We want to be, but we're struggling. And I would hate one day you do that and somebody don't got control over themselves and you find yourself in a situation you can't handle. I wouldn't want that for you. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I would not want that for you. So why don't you stop? You can actually discuss your issue without all that other stuff. You don't have to do that, right? Because everybody can't take it, right? And if you mean good, then do good. Right? If you mean good, mean good. Like I'm talking to you. I'm saying, listen, you're welcome. Right? I don't know. I wasn't always Imam Amin. They didn't always call me Sheikh. Right? I do know how to be that word you keep calling us. I know how to be that. I know it well. Right? You know how you always calling us the N-word? I know how to act like that. But I've never acted like that to you, ever. You've never saw me act like that. Ever, 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 ever. And I don't want you to act like that. Right? Behave yourself. Right? Let's be good Muslims. To the best of our ability. We all struggling. Be good Muslims. Respect one another. And if you really think we're misguided, go out your way to guide us. But if you're sincere, you should talk to us because we're the ones that's misguided. If I'm misguided and misguiding people, you should tell me. I'm the one doing it. You got Facebook, you on it. I'm public. You can just go there and link, right? And message me. Send me your phone number, right? I'm blocked, so I can't send you. I tried to reach you, but I'm blocked. But you're not blocked, so you can reach me. Send me your number, right? Let's talk. Let's sit down and me and you, we men, right? And I know why you're not coming on public. I understand that. But that doesn't mean we can't discuss the issue, right? Me and you can privately discuss the issue because publicly, maybe you might get embarrassed. I got that. So let's not do that. You can still reach out to me. You can come to Masjid Muhammad, right? You can do that. And I will make sure you're safe. So you don't have to worry about that. This will be a place of comfort for you. I promise you that, right? Because you don't have a masjid for me to come to. You're not a leader. You're not an imam, right? Right? All right. So, barakallahu bikum. May Allah reward you. May Allah increase you. May Allah let us learn something from all of this, which is if we're sincere seekers of truth, we will be able to stand on that truth privately, publicly, with everyone. We could do it. So may Allah make it easy. Barakallahu bikum. I think everyone understood my point. I was clear. And I won't be addressing this issue never again, except to those people. Anytime we'll have a public discussion, we can have it. The invitation is available, right? Right? It's available. So, hey, CJ, really, I would suggest you watch this all the time. You wouldn't laugh. It wouldn't be funny if that go to another level with somebody. It would, and you might. And if you do laugh, that's a shame. You shouldn't encourage him in that, honestly, right? It won't be funny. Y'all young guys, y'all really don't know how this stuff go. Y'all new jacks. Y'all ain't really been in real smoke. It's all a game to y'all. Till y'all start saying astaghfirullah when it get ugly. Don't do that. Seriously. I'm having a sincere talk with y'all, especially our young people. Stop. We can differ. That's fine. We can do all that. That's fine. We can disagree. But all that disrespect, don't do that. Don't even encourage nobody to do that stuff, right? Right? Don't even encourage, because we live in an environment that things can go south. Don't do that. Don't encourage that stuff at all, right? Right? Don't encourage that. Because that young brother can find himself knee deep in nonsense, and then you be like, oh man, yeah, but you encouraged him. Don't encourage nobody to do that stuff. Don't do that. Right? Be a brother to each other, right? Right? Be a brother to each other. Despite all of his nonsense, I'm still a brother, right? I'm still a brother to him, right? I'm still a brother to him. I tell him, I love him. I want the best for you, but don't do that silly stuff, because like I said, everyone is not the same, right? Everyone's not the same. So be nice, really, really be nice to each other. I know it's fun and games, and sometimes we enjoy stuff, but don't do that. Don't do that. Seriously, don't do that. And Gareth, for you, since you don't come on, really stop that stuff, man. Don't do that. You can refute, just be intelligent and refute. No one's telling you don't refute, but all that other stuff, leave it out. It takes away from your refutation, right? Just refute. Bring your evidences, bring your proof, and that's it. That's sufficient. It don't need the other stuff, right? Do y'all follow me? Do you follow me? The summit, we'll move on. And I'm only saying this because I love the brother, seriously. And I don't care about the refutations, that stuff, because if you feel that way, right? I don't believe in censorship. I believe in you expressing your truth, right? Okay, so the summit is not the summit, Islamic unity. It's coming up July 11th until the 14th. Let me put this link. You can register at this link, and more speakers are added. We just didn't get the chance to make other flyers because it's getting overwhelming. This is what we're really about, trying to build. But so there's the link, right? Where you register. Among the speakers, as you see on the flyer, there are more. Our elders, Imam Siraj Wahaj, Imam Zayd Shakir, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, Dr. Ihsan Bigmi, Imam Dawood Alid, Sheikh Aisha Prime, Dr. Bilal Weir, Imam Suleiman Hamid from Atlanta, and others. They are adding to the list, and they'll be coming out probably in the next week or two. And more advertising will become. But so we ask you to spread the event. The flyers on our thing, spread it. There's also a special hotel discount, and you should get that. Why? Because it's very expensive in Atlantic City in July, but we have extremely low discounted rates for this summit at the location, right? So I would advise every one of you to call this place. It's the Waterfront Convention. Give them that code. That's the code for the Islamic Unity Conference. The rate for the whole days there is $610. It got its tax and all that, right? But I'll get your question, brother Abu Muhammad Ibn Hisham. And Mash, barakallahu feek. Allah yaftah alik. MashaAllah. I just can't drink. I drink a little bit of juice.
All right.
It's just, I get in trouble. Shukran jazilan. So we're going to be more about this we're going to talk more about the event, but that's the hotel information. So 2 things you need to do. Secure your hotel now, because rooms go fast towards the summer, and we only have a block of rooms. So first come, first serve with that. That's the code. And then the other is the link for the actual conference, which is going across the screen, right? And I put it up there. Let me put it again. I'm not great with this stuff. So that's going across the bottom of the screen. And that's where you register. And please spread it, honestly, because this is the real work that we have to do. And we got other issues besides petty issues that we deal with. And I'm not saying these issues ain't important that we disagree about, but they're not the only issues. We have many other things we have to address, right? So even if you can't make it, please share it, please spread it. And all of the speakers, inshallah, over the next few weeks will be coming on live. We'll be talking about it. And may Allah make it easy for us. And that's that. Let me take this one question. It's 2 questions. Oh, that's a good question. The summit was not about backlash, but actually I was going to postpone the summit this year, African Americans. I was already going to do it. Was going to postpone the African American Islamic Summit. Some of the members of my community, especially the women, they said, your stuff, the summit that you do is just about certain issues. But we also need to learn to work together despite differences. So we need a unity conference, because the African American Islamic Summit dealt with African American Islamic issues alone, nothing else. And since you're not doing the summit, can we do an Islamic unity conference that would address broader issues? And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I will help you. So really, our sisters are the ones that push this issue, and we're supporting them, right? So the summit itself is not like canceled. It's just they wanted to do this because the time and remember when we was going to do the summit, it would have happened by now, right? But it was very difficult to put everything I wanted to do. So this was the alternative. And I think it's a good thing. And inshallah, because we do got other issues. Everything is not just about African Americans. Muslim unity and how we can achieve that is important, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's just take, and I said I had time. This was really Gareth's time that he could have really solved all of his issues and he could have showed unity, right? I'll give you an example. Let's take this issue. What is the difference that we may be we're talking about Aqidah, belief. We differ in some issues of Aqidah in Islamic creed. Okay, we differ. Does that mean because we differ in Aqidah that we can't do nothing together? Does that mean that we don't have similar challenges and issues and concerns that collectively we could help and support one another in a good way? Or is it just because we don't got the same Aqidah, all bets are off? We can't do nothing until you have my Aqidah? Of course not. That's not how the world works. So we learn how to navigate our differences, which we would unify in certain issues that are available for us that are needed, right? Right? So that's the issue. So say if Gareth was sincere, he could have that discussion because we don't disagree on everything. We disagree on some issues. Let's discuss those issues. And where we don't disagree, let us benefit. He's concerned about the plight of African Americans, and so am I. He's concerned about the plight of our community, and so am I, right? So there's an issue that we could cooperate on. We could share resources, share ideas, share information that would benefit our community, right? And we can still have different Aqidas. No problem. We just don't agree on Aqidah. That's it. But is that everything? No, that's not everything. That's a part of it. So on Aqidah, we're not going to agree. And we're going to learn how to navigate that so it doesn't become disruptive and destructive in our collective progress. That's mature people. My brother's not a Muslim, but we work together all the time and all kinds of stuff. He was just in the Masjid Thursday night with a group of men, and we're talking about how we can mentor young people who need mentors and they don't have fathers. And it was a group of men, Black men, Spanish, Bengali, Arab, all of us men in the masjid eating some food, talking about how we can help, right? That's mature people. We don't agree on everything. It's Christians, but we all from the hood. We all understand our situations. We all have experience. And I'll give you an example. In that meeting, we counted in the meeting. We had among us over 100 years in prison. I want you to think about that. We were a group of us, men, in that room. It was about, I don't know, maybe at tops 15 people. And to combine, the 15 people had more than 100 years of prison time served. You don't think we got common things we need to be talking about? So that the next generation don't say that 15 men sitting around and they got over 100 years of prison time served. You don't think that's an issue? I want you to think about that. 100 years of prison time served, and it's just 15 of us. And some of them never been to prison. That's something to think about, right? Isn't that an issue? And out of those, the generation before them have a bunch of people who've been to prison too. And some of the generation under them are serving life sentences right now. And you know what one of the brothers said? He's working with the youth. He said, we need to start in the 5th grade or less. He said, if they get to the 5th grade and we ain't reached them, they shot. He said, we got to start at least 5th grade and under. Man, that's all of our problem. That ain't an Aqidah problem. That's a different issue. We all serve that. Right? We got issues. One issue is the black on black violence, hurting each other, right? So because I don't agree with Gareth Brooks, when I see you, I'm gonna handle it. That's not productive for us. But we come from that background and we feel that way. Don't worry, when I catch you, that's it. That's not productive for us. That's destructive. That's an issue that me and him should be working and training our people how to control their anger, how to do conflict resolution so people ain't getting killed at the Eid or shot at the Eid. You understand my point? So no matter what our Aqidah is, that's a common thing we deal with. And we need to be unified and using our resources to solve these issues. Economics. Some of us commit crime because we broke. I watched Abdul Wali Hassan yesterday. I'm giving you a shout out. Or the day before yesterday, he's on there talking about what the Pakistanis are doing in Texas and complaining while black people can't get together and do the like. Well, there's issues why we don't do the like, and we should be discussing them. We should come together and understand why we can't have a whole city for us as Muslims, why we ain't partnering together, why we don't have doctors and lawyers and engineers, and why education is not so important. All these are issues, right? All these are issues that are common for us. It has nothing to do with our Aqidah, right? How to address, right? Right? How to address the housing crisis and how we can be unified to deal with that. We got neighborhoods right here in Atlantic City. They don't even have hot heat. They don't have proper running facilities. And they're going to DC to address the housing crisis, right? In our city alone is a food desert. People don't have adequate food. Kids, they're not going to school having breakfast and they can't learn because they're hungry. These are issues that we need to be united on. We need to work. If you understand my point, and I could go on and on and on and on and on. So there's many things that we have in common that we need to be unified on. And it don't necessarily relate to Aqidah. No matter what's your Aqidah, you still got that problem. Well, maybe we can't solve the Aqidah problem, but we can solve that one together, right? Do y'all follow my point? Am I clear? And this is just by way of examples. We can go on and on and on and on, right? But to have, like in this list of speakers, you have people who spend their life trying to help us with all these issues. If you take the first 3 speakers there, Imam Siraj Wahaj, Imam Zaid, Imam Talib, Dr. Ihsan, they 70 and above, 70 years old and above. They've been in the struggle for decades. They've built organizations to try to help us, right? They don't got too much long to live, you know. We need their advices. We need their experience. We need to sit down and have those discussions. And it don't have to be nothing about Aqidah. I'll give you one of the things. All of them been around since the late 60s, early 70s. They've been in the struggle, and they've watched the African American Islamic community lose its influence to now that others have replaced them in the leadership in the inner cities and have minimized their impact on policy and on business and on community. How did that happen, Imam? What did we do wrong? What do we need to correct? What are we missing? These are our elders. We should listen to them. And we shouldn't say, well, if you're not on my Aqidah, I ain't listening to you about nothing. No, that's foolish. Only a fool would do that. We may disagree on this issue. That has nothing to do with all these other issues we got. Do y'all follow the point? Y'all with me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? So that's the benefit of it. Y'all got my point? Am I clear? You see the benefit of this? And where are we going to get these group of people together? So that's it. And my thing is, right, we have other things. And I'm telling you, especially us as an African American community, right, if we don't learn to cooperate with each other where we can, we're going to become extinct as a relevant community in Islam. We're going to be extinct. If we don't learn to have a harmonious, collective voice in real important life issues, community issues, societal issues, even in some religious issues, if we don't define how that works, we're going to become extinct. Seriously. And I see it happening. I've been around long enough. I've been in the Islamic environment for 44 years. 44 years. I've seen so many movements. I've seen so much stuff, both here in the United States and abroad around the world. I'm not a rookie. I'm not a new jack. I've seen it. And I realize the way things are going. And this is extremely important for us, especially to connect the generational gaps that we have. If we don't get to sit with our elders, with the newcomers, and with the newcomers that are up and coming influencers, like somebody like Gareth. I ain't saying him specifically, but people like him, right? Right? And people who want to do positive, if we don't learn to connect all these gaps, we're in trouble. We're going to destroy ourselves. So I would hope that we realize how important this stuff is. And I would hope if people, these young brothers like Garrett, get yourself together, because you should be on the platform. You should be mature enough to sit down and learn from people who preceded you and could help you not make the same mistakes that we made. Don't be arrogant. Don't be puffed up. Be able to sit down with your elders who have more experience than you and can teach you some stuff. Don't be so arrogant. Listen, those are older than me. I've acquired some things they didn't acquire. And guess what? They got experience that I don't have. Do you follow my point? All of us can benefit like that. As a people, we collectively need that. And I'll just end with this point that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever doesn't have honor and respect for our elders and mercy for our young is not from us. Whoever does not have honor and respect for our elders and mercy towards our young is not from us. Right? That's Islam, bro. 101. And our teachers were so strict in that, they say, you know who's your elder? If the person is one day older than you, he's your elder. Just one day older than you, he's your elder. And you have to have reverence and respect for him. We've lost that. We got these young guys who haven't studied, haven't learned, have no respect for people who sacrifice their life in da'wah. Come on, young brother. You ain't studied nowhere. You ain't even did no real learning. Right? So why don't you sit down and humble yourself, young brother? You ain't studied. You ain't learned. You ain't put in no work. You ain't built nothing. Have some respect. Maybe you will learn from that. Right? Maybe you will sit and you will learn from your elders something that you can use for succeeding generations. Right? And guess what? We all got young people who don't listen. We know that. I was one of them. And I'm still a younger person to my elders, and some of the advice they give me, I need to rethink and listen to and examine and all of that, right? It's levels to this, as we say. It's levels. But all of us, so that's the benefit of the Unity Conference, right? It's important. Does it mean we're going to agree on everything? No. No one expects to. No one does. That don't mean we got to be destructive. That don't mean we still can't benefit. And the biggest lie, especially for me, listen, bro, you don't know me well. I don't walk around saying everyone who's not Ash'ari is a kafir. And if you misunderstood that for me, that's just what you did. You misunderstood. That's impossible to say something like that. If you're not Ash'ari, you're a kafir. Who says that? Where? Where did you get that from? And if you believe that's what you heard from me, I'm telling you, you misunderstood me. And if those words came out my mouth, it is a slip of the tongue, which Islamically is excused, and it needs to be corrected. So if I did say that, and you actually heard that, that's wrong. That's wrong. So stop saying it, because it's not true. And if you understood that from me, you misunderstood. I'm going to give you the level. To say that is kufr. That's how serious that is. To say that everyone who's not an Ash'ari is a kafir, in and of itself is kufr. Now you see how serious that is, young man? So when you're accusing me of such thing, what you're actually accusing me because you don't know about Islam is you actually calling me a kafir. Do you realize that? Mister, I don't want to call nobody a kafir. If I believed that whoever's not an Ash'ari is a kafir, that in itself is kufr. Because it's calling Islam kufr. Do you understand that? And to call Islam kufr is kufr. Do you got, since you want to be on takfir, while you're making takfir of me without knowing it? You got it? So obviously, I don't say that. So stop saying that. Please, barakallahu bikum. May Allah reward you. May Allah bless you. And learn. And that's what I mean by experience. That's what I mean about learning. That's what I mean. It will help you. No one says that. No learning Muslim would say some stuff like that. Not even the opposite way. No Wahhabi is going to say whoever's not Wahhabi is a kafir. They may say they're people of innovation. They may say they're misguided. They're never going to say whoever's not a Wahhabi, whoever's not a Salafi is a kafir. Whoever's not Athari is a kafir. No Ash'ari is going to say that. No Wahhabi is going to say that. No Salafi is going to say that. They may call you an innovator. They may say you misguided in some issues. But to make an absolute statement like that, no one is ever going to do that. Not one who learned. The one who did that just didn't learn. Do you follow my point, my brother? Does that solve one of your issues? Does that make you more comfortable? And if you would have talked to me, you could have understood that. Okay, I gave enough of my time on that issue. May Allah reward us all. May Allah teach us. And may Allah make us sincere. Can we all put that? And I think this is very important. Maybe we can close that. May Allah make us all sincere. I mean, can we all put that up? Can we stop with that? Can we all copy and paste that? Even Gareth, I hope he agrees with me in that. May Allah make us all sincere. Can we copy that? May Allah make us sincere. How about that? That would be nice, right? Isn't that a nice dua? That Allah make us all sincere? How about that? And I pray for that for myself, for all of you, and my brother Gareth, and those people who say that stuff about Masjid Muhammad. May Allah make us all sincere. And sincerity is a sword. If it's ever put to something, it will cut it. Sincerity is a sword that if it's ever put to something, it will cut it. Be sincere. Be sincere. May Allah make us sincere. And I'll close with that. May Allah make us sincere. Barakallahu bikum. May Allah reward you all. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Thank you for your time. I hope all of you got an understanding, even if some things were a little bit, spicy, but it's all with good intentions. We all mean in sincerity. We want good for each other. I wish no good, no bad for none of us. May Allah make us sincere people. Barakallahu bikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.